If there are any questions that have to do with Star Trek wins all the time. That's the way. That's my own personal decree. If Star Trek is involved, Star Trek wins. Like who would win, Captain Kirk or Godzilla? Captain Kirk. Who would win, the Enterprise or the entire Klingon fleet? The Enterprise. I mean, anything. Okay. However, having said that, I do remember that a single fighter flew into the bridge of a Star Destroyer and took the whole sucker down. Remember that?
No.
So I think if Captain Picard flew the Enterprise D right into the bridge of the Star Destroyer, he could take that sucker down.
Wouldn't that be a checkmate? You know, they're both kind of...
Well, yes, it would, but then Picard would be gone and Captain Kirk would be the only one left.
This is the Enterprise D. I mean, they've done many amazing things, but the Enterprise D in Generations was also destroyed by a 100-year-old decommissioned Klingon bird of prey. Not an Imperial Star Destroyer. I mean, Imperial Star Destroyer, they'll be able to, one shot would be able to destroy a Klingon bird of prey.
Well, have you seen, let's talk scale for a minute. Scale. Here's the Imperial Star Destroyer. Here's the Enterprise. Unless the Enterprise wants to latch onto the back and fly along, and then when they let go of their garbage before going to hyperspace, they detach.
I don't see really any way the Enterprise D could win. What do you guys think? Get the mic out there. Let's talk about this.
Star Wars in no way had any way to beam people apart any part of their ship. So if they're faster, they would simply just beam a boarding party, and obviously since the stormtroopers can't hit them, take over the ship.
Good thinking, my friend.
That's possible.
Okay, I personally think that whether or not the Star Destroyer will win is dependent on whether or not Darth Vader is actually on it.
Well, that is a good point.
That is true.
So let's have two possibilities now after you have your say.
I'm a fan of the Enterprise, but I don't think Star Destroyers ever had random problems happen with it.
Oh, that is...
Holodeck, missile tubes, warp core, too many problems happen.
Yeah, the original, the Next Generation did have frequent happenstances where one lucky shot on the Enterprise, all of a sudden, warp core failure,
Good point.
Yeah, it's
Good point. Of course, I have the definitive answer.
People.
Why? You know why the Enterprise would win and the Star Destroyer would lose? Because Star Wars is pretend and Star Trek is real. That's why. There is no Star Wars and Star Destroyer, but the Enterprise is real. It's up there somewhere.
Star Wars already happened. It was a long, long time ago.
And how do you know that it's not real? It's in a galaxy far, far away. So
I believe George Lucas did have a time machine, and he went back to experience the events firsthand. I think it was the DeLorean, but I could have my facts wrong.
Of course, the Star Destroyer might have a chance if they were somehow able to get Jar Jar Binks onto the Enterprise.
Only to make it a stable thing.
All right, I think one more, and then we're going to make our decision.
Oh man.
I'm going to put in my vote for the Star Destroyer because, first of all, if the Enterprise gets Captain Kirk, then you got to give Darth Vader to the Star Destroyer. And second of all, there's one thing that you haven't taken into account, which is the Star Destroyer has all sorts of like TIE fighters and everything. It's got fighters. It's got like 10,000 turbulence. I just don't think there's a contest here.
Now we do have two hypothetical situations here. One with Darth Vader not being on the Imperial Star Destroyer. And then the second one is Darth Vader actually being on the Star Destroyer. And if Darth Vader is on the Star Destroyer, the Force trumps all. I mean, you just do the warp core breach from the Enterprise from the bridge of the Star Destroyer. The Force cheats, basically. Yeah. Rez, can we do one more? Yeah.
The Star Destroyer was made by the Empire, who created their awesome super weapon, which could be destroyed if you could shoot through the hole. It's like shooting womp rats back home. I mean, seriously, there's got to be a flaw in the Star Destroyer. They just don't focus on that.
Yeah. And I think they could probably find the weakness.
I'm thinking.
I think so. Or just fly the ship into the bridge, like I said before. I mean, you know, I can just see Vader on the bridge going, oh shit. Right?
And the Enterprise D.
No.
Two parts to the Enterprise D. So you could send one part in, because it was two parts, the Enterprise D. Two parts.
That's true. Everybody goes find a way. That's right.
The Star Destroyer didn't get destroyed by the fighter flying into it. It got destroyed when it ran into a satellite that was as big as a planet. And it didn't get destroyed by that.
I don't think the Enterprise D is as big as a planet. That's true. Yeah. I do have to grudgingly admit the Star Destroyer does have a weakness, and that is that its shield generators are on top of the bridge. Thanks for that.
And you know, when the ship flew into the bridge, it just started plummeting. They lost all control. The satellite just happened to be there, and they ran into it. Eventually, they're going to hit something. They're just going to be falling. Something. Okay.
So, we are ready to...
Oh, yeah.
So one other factor, and it's going to be completely geeky of me, I know this, but there's one other factor that you might consider, and that's the fact that Darth Vader may not screw around, but neither does Picard. So one of them may say, hey, let's duke it out together, just to see who would win that particular fight for figuring out the Destroyer versus the Enterprise. The one catch is, Picard already messed with the Borg. He has balls of steel. Vader might not be able to put a fight against that, so...
Oh, no. No. I think Grandpa Picard would lose very quickly against Darth Vader.
Did you see him in the movies?
That's it. There's two Picards. Upper Picard and Lower Picard.
We are ready to put this to a vote among the panelists here. Dick? What is your...
If it were the original Enterprise, there would be no contest that would win. But since it's the Enterprise D, I'm going to have to go with the Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
A swing vote, but I actually would go with the Enterprise D. My reasoning for this is because you have to realize that this is happening after the Nexus, so there is no Kirk.
I guess I am the tiebreaker here on this one. And while I love the Enterprise D, I'm a big fan of the Next Generation. It's that 100-year decommissioned bird of prey in Generations. That's why I had to side with the Imperial Star Destroyer.
One problem solved.